Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Ultra 72018 latch bolt strike plate is what this is. 72018 right there. This is what we would call a T-strike. If you use your imagination, you can see why we might call it a T-strike. We're very ingenious here in the hardware industry with what we call things. This type of strike is going to be very typical in wood frame applications. Not that you won't see them in a steel or a hollow metal frame application, you certainly will. Not unusual at all. I don't know, I can't really say how popular steel frames are with 3.5-inch hinge prep and a T-strike like this, but they certainly are out there. So this type of strike is 2 3/4 tall. That also goes with the fact that it's a T-strike. It also is the same overall height of a common deadbolt strike. Just coincidence, really. The overall height of this is 2 3/4, as I said. The overall width, a couple of dimensions here. So up top here, it's 1 1/8. To the edge of the lip, it's about 1 7/8 inches. That's not how these are measured, however. The measurement is from the center line of the screw hole to the edge of the lip. And typically strikes are about 1 1/4 inches, plus or minus a 1/16, but about 1 1/4 inches is what this is. Sometimes we get asked for the size of that hole. It's about 5/8 by about 1 3/16 inches. The little margin from the back of the strike appears to be just heavy on 1/8 of an inch, and it's going to include a couple of screws for attaching to what would be a wood frame. Why would you need this? What would you use this for? Well, you've got a need for strike plates, obviously. Perhaps you're pulling the brass hardware off your doors and you're putting on satin nickel hardware, and they do call this finish stainless steel. It's a stainless steel finish. This is not made of stainless, but it is going to be a complementary finish to nickel, satin chrome, satin stainless. It's going to be like a uni sort of composite type of finish. Okay, it'll be fairly typical for that. Okay. Perhaps you're changing locks, want a different color. Perhaps you've got some locks and you've realized, oh, I have the wrong strikes. You might have the full lip strikes, also known as D strikes. If you look at a full lip strike, it'll look like the capital letter D. You might say, boy, I've got these wood frames from 1965, and they have 2 3/4 T-strikes installed. You might need it for that reason. You might just have the wrong strikes is the bottom line, and you need T-strikes. If you're doing a new installation, you're obviously going to prep your steel your steel frames or your wood frames based on what the hardware is going to include or what the hardware schedule says. But sometimes that's not the case. Someone has prepped wood frames for T-strikes rather than full lip D strikes or 4 7/8 ANSI or ASA strikes. So however you get to needing these, well, you've arrived. Here's the strike. Let's switch to the screen view and I'll show you some supporting information for this manufacturer.
If you've not hit subscribe yet, we would very much appreciate if you did, and hopefully you're enjoying this video. Now, let's get back to it.
Okay, here's the item that we are looking at. Extended description, priced per each, the part number, the finish. It's intended for cylindrical locks. Why is that the case? Well, a cylindrical lock is a lock that has a certain attribute to it. Okay, where the prep is in the frame and the center line, I mean, imagine if that was centered. Forgive me. I'm wanting to, I could have done that better. Okay, these center line, oh boy, these center lines are, yep, that's the same. That's what I'm driving at. Whereas a mortise lock, so back up, the center line of the cylindrical lock, the center line of a cylindrical lock and the center line of the strike, where the hole is, are the same. Not if you measured off the top of the door to the center line and then the underside of the header to the center line, because you'd have that 1/8 of an inch margin up here. But it's intended for a cylindrical lock and not a mortise lock because of that reason. Now, a mortise lock, the center line of a mortise lock pocket, that latch is actually biased towards the bottom of the lock. So where the strike is, that center line of the latch is not the center line of the strike at all. Not everyone understands that, and they do so to their substantial disadvantage. I've had people order a mess of wood fire-rated doors and give me the dimension for the strike on the frame as the center line of the strike on the frame, but they were referencing the center line of the latch bolt on the door and didn't tell me that. They provided me the underside of the header to the top of the strike and the underside of the header to the center of the strike. But they were referencing the center of the strike as if it was the center of the latch bolt. That was a fatal error on those lock locations. They were all off by about 3/4 inch or whatever it was. And while they didn't order replacement doors, they fixed that problem somehow on their own. The problem with that is whatever they did in the field to repair that violated the fire rating or integrity of the door completely. The point of the matter is this is intended for cylindrical locks because of that center line of the lock pocket. Too much information, I suppose, but nonetheless, now you know. Images of this strike, let's take a look. Sorry. Okay, that's what it looks like. Removed from its packaging. With its 2 wood screws. The strike alone, another view of it. That's a curved lip on that strike. Not all strikes are curved lip, but many instances they are. Just showing you a closer view, I suppose, of the metal itself. And then the underside, and then the 2 screws. There's a link below this video, as seen here, to the manufacturer's page in our site, where you can pull up not only all of the Ultra products we sell by means of this horizontal navigation, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as seen here, but also a link to the full product catalog. Let's take our part number, 72018, and let's copy that. Then let's open up the full product catalog. And then do a find function on your keyboard for 72018, Control F. And you'll find the page where this is located and other strikes. Latch protectors, things that are related to strike plates. So different T-strikes in terms of colors, an adjustable style, a circular type strike, not that uncommon. You do see these. Full lip or D strikes, as I said earlier. ASA or 4 7/8 strikes, security strikes, variations on this material, etc. So sometimes it's nice to know the part number and then hop into the catalog and you get right into it, so to speak. Let's wrap up this video on camera.
If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video.
Okay, so it's a fairly typical piece of equipment in terms of it being door hardware, that's to be sure. The name Ultra is synonymous with hardware like this and many other types of residential hardware. They are an importer of material from overseas, and the hallmark of Ultra material is it's decent quality, it's a decent value, and it's generally in stock. If we don't stock it, the factory likely has a container load of it, you know, figuratively, a skid of it, let's say, because they have to bring in container loads of material. I wouldn't personally hesitate to use Ultra material when the appropriate job presented itself. If you're a commercial customer, look at their door closers, their exit devices, and their hinges, and their lock sets. And if you're a residential customer, look at their cabinet hardware. They have a great offering of cabinet. The cabinet hardware is the stuff that I may choose to proactively use. Great value. Much of it is zinc, which means it's inexpensive. It's heavy because it's zinc, and it gives you a good finish. So there you go. Any questions on the 72018 T-Strike or any other Ultra product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you very much.
Thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.